Welcome to Subramani. Some more quotations, some very nice simple quotations which is easy for everybody to understand. So one of them is by Gene Farmer, and he says your money is like soap. The more you handle it, the less you will have. I think this is very beautiful and you can understand, everybody can understand. The more you trade, the more tax you will pay, and the more security, the brokerage you will pay, which is the STT you will pay, right? So all the costs of trading and the capital gains together hurts when you trade a lot. So when you buy a share, suppose you buy a share and luck has it that you don't sell it for 30 years. For 30 years you do not incur any transaction costs. So if you buy a mutual fund and you hold it for 30 years, you will at least incur asset management charges. If you buy direct equity and hold it for 30 years, you incur no charges. 30 years later, you will pay tax. Please understand there is a big difference between paying 10% every year and paying 10% once after 30 years. There's a huge difference. So don't get into this every year, let me book some profits. No, it does not make sense unless you're booking profits of less than 1 lakh and paying no tax, right? So then it makes sense. But don't worry about inflation and all that, because you will worry about taxation when you sell, not when you buy, right? So it's as simple as that. So when you say that money is like soap, there are 3-4 things that note tells you. One, many studies have shown that trading in and out is expensive. Investment fees could be hurting. There could be entry load, exit load. Today it's not there in mutual funds, but there is still an exit load. And again, the minimum transaction size, your minimum transaction size may be 20,000 rupees, so you may not be able to meet that, so you will pay some minimum charges. And then there is taxation, then there is administrative cost of doing all this, right? So any investment which carries on without any of these things, without even the management fee, and stays on for a long time, would be the greatest, right? The second quote is by Benjamin Graham, which he says, obvious prospects for physical growth in a business does not translate into obvious profits for investors. This is also very simple to understand. We remember, at least if you are an Indian, we all remember Jet Airways. Jet Airways looked like a very good airline. It had market share, it had everything, but it had no pricing power. And we do not know how well the management, how good the management was. In retrospect, it looks like the management was not good. I'm not even talking of corruption. It was just perhaps bad management. But the quality of service that they rendered was good. So again, you come to the negative side of this. There are first, it's difficult to pick winners so easily by just looking at the market. So don't go by what Peter Lynch said, if you are a big consumer of this product, many others must be consuming, so it's good buy. If you had bought Jet Airways, you would have made no money. If you had banked with Yes Bank and therefore bought Yes Bank shares, you wouldn't have made any money. First of all, when you are using services, it's very difficult to understand whether the company makes money. That is more important. For example, Indigo as of now does not have pricing power. Hopefully with a 50% market share going forward, they will have pricing power, but as of now they don't have pricing power, because some new entrant could come and queer the market when the pricing power comes, or rather when the demand comes back. So therefore there is a problem for somebody like Indigo also, even with such a big market share. You could have picked automobiles, you could have picked airplanes, you could have picked internet. As an industry, you would have still got it right. But as a company, would you have got it right? Tata Motors has not made any money for shareholders in the last 10 years, right? Are their cars good? Maybe they are good. The current quarter, the results are good. Is it a share worth buying? There is absolutely no evidence to show that the share is worth buying. But you never know, it could just turn around, right? So second, even if you get the winning company right, you have to get the winning timing right. So that's far more difficult. So therefore the saying that obvious prospects, physical growth is there, but it does not mean it will be obvious profits for you as the shareholder. One more thing from Samuel Johnson's book about Buffett. He says the chains of habit are too weak to be felt until they are too strong to be broken. This is again beautiful, because some bad habits which you develop while investing, while eating, while exercising, those things don't go away. You have to work to it. The negative side is pretty clear, right? That if you develop a bad habit, by the time you recognize that it's a bad habit, it might be too late. But you also don't know whether it is really a bad habit. For example, if you had invested in 1980 or 1978 with a man called Deepak Parekh, how did you know that in 2005 or 2020 he will have such a fantastic reputation, that his company will get such a huge PE, right? So I didn't know that. So a lot of shares of HDFC Limited I have sold, because you never know. You say, boss, this is too much. Why is it doing so well? So let me sell. I have sold MRF in the past. I have sold HDFC Limited. I have sold Honda Motors. I have sold Bosch. I have sold MRF. You just need to sell, because you do not know how much to trust the management, how long to trust the management, will these advantages sustain. If you looked at HDFC Limited just as a mortgage company, I am guilty, I have done that, just as a mortgage company, you would have sold it long back. However, it's not a mortgage company. It's like the Berkshire Hathaway of India. It's got so many other assets which are doing well. He's a promoter of an AMC, of a bank, of a company which is giving loan to students, right? All that is in the stomach of HDFC Limited. So it's a company, not just a mortgage company. But all this realization dawns on you much later on in life. You, as a 25-year-old, you don't really understand any of these things, right? So you also need to understand that when people like Peter Lynch said, owning a stock is like having children. I mean, they are yours, but you should not get too involved with them. So that's difficult to say, because over years you develop some favorites. For example, for me, Coromandel Fertilizer or HDFC Limited, which I've been holding on for 40 years plus, would always be my favorites. I cannot just wish it away. Colgate, Nestle, Siemens, Cummins, it's not something which I'm going to say, oh, there's a problem, let me sell it off. I'm going to find it very difficult. And over long periods of time, they may not have delivered, and then deliver amazingly good results, right? So as far as I'm concerned, as a dividend value investor, I think these companies have added value. But do I fall in love with them? Do I hold them on permanently? I know I shouldn't. I know I should be disciplined, but I find it very difficult. But it is there. The truth is, you shouldn't get too involved with them, right? So now let me take 2-3 quotations which sound very similar. So if the job has been done correctly, when a common stock is purchased, the time to sell it is almost never. Who said this? Phil Fisher, Ken Fisher's father, right? Buffett's statement everybody knows. My view of holding a company is forever. And but Charlie Munger says the money is made not in the buying but in the selling. Now I have found this very difficult to follow, that I'm more in the Phil Fisher and Buffett kind of a thing. So if I have, say, 40,000-50,000 shares of a company, I would not sell them at a time. I would sell 100, 200, 500 at a time, and at some stage buy it back also. So for me, I agree more with Phil Fisher and Buffett, but then Munger says you should sell the share and that is where you make money. I completely agree that is where you make money, but why would you sell the share unless you can find some other share which is better, or which you think is going to be better than the share which you are selling? So that is the reason for me to sell. Largely I don't sell, I switch. So I will sell X and buy Y. So I will be happy to sell one company and buy its parent company or the holding company, because there's a huge holding company discount, right? So some of these kind of things I have done, because I do think sometimes the parent has more value, sometimes the child has more value, and sometimes another child has more value. So you sell the main child which you were buying and holding, and buy a more promising child. So right, so you sell off say you sell off HDFC Bank and you buy HDFC Life Insurance, and or you buy HDFC Limited, but you may not buy Bandhan Bank, you may not buy Yes Bank, or you may say, okay, let me sell off HDFC Bank and buy Yes Bank, because it has got similar parentage. There is HDFC Limited available at the top, there is State Bank of India, so let me buy that. So right, so all those things come into play while selling. It is not just you buy and you decide to buy in 2020 and decide to sell it in 2016. Never happens. All the emotions have to be handled, the ups and downs. So you sell at a high price, you buy it low, then you sell, and then you fail. It's a mistake that you made by selling. Then you go and buy more, you buy double of what you sold. All these things will happen. So anybody who thinks and say, oh, if I put 1 lakh here, it would have become 1 crore, that's completely wrong. You will never be able to hold it that way, right? So nice to have these sayings, but you should pick up sayings which are contrarian, contrary to each other. So when Buffett or Lynch is contradicted by a Munger, think why they are contradicting, because two different independent minds are talking about it. You benefit by the knowledge of both of them. Why would you stick only to Peter Lynch or Phil Fisher and say, oh, I should hold it on permanently? No, Munger says you have to book profits. Do that also. Thank you.